Hi, my name is Patrick Daigle. I'm with the product management team for vSphere integrated containers at VMware, and today I'd like to walk you through our new virtual container host creation wizard that we added to the latest version of vSphere integrated containers. Now, if you've tried vSphere integrated containers in the past, you'll know that to deploy the virtual container host, you had to rely on this vic machine command line that was a little intimidating for first-time users. It's prone to typos, and then you have to basically know what each of these options do in order to choose the appropriate parameter from your existing vSphere inventory. So what we've did with the latest version of Vic is that we actually, building on the existing plugin we had in the HTML5 vSphere client, what we did is we added a new function that allows you and walks you through the creation of your virtual container hosts. So clicking on this new virtual container host button here takes you to the wizard. This is a workflow-based wizard that'll walk you through each of these 6 or 7 individual steps here to configure your virtual container host. And we guide you along the way, providing you with some high-level information on what each of these fields mean, and provide you with little hints along the way as well. If you need more information, you can always click on the little hints button that will give you more information so that you can make the right decisions as you're picking each of these parameters. The other thing we did, because we're tightly integrated into vSphere, is that we also provide you with a view of your inventory. Anytime you need to choose a component from your inventory to configure your container host and to configure the resources that will be available through the Docker API, we present them to you in an easy drop-down, easy way to select them. I'm not going to touch any of these virtual container host limits for now. This will be for another video. Here we need to configure the image data store. Again, this particular environment only has one data store, but here you would have a list of your available data stores that you can just pick from. So I'll configure this image store. I'm not going to configure any volume data stores at this point. As you can see, the required parameters are highlighted by a little red asterisk, and that's what we're going to focus on for this demo. Next, we configure the necessary networks. Again, we provide you with hints every step of the way. The networking configuration, for anybody who's tried this, can be a little complicated maybe at first, but here we provide you with hints. We provide you with the drop-downs that allow you to choose the port groups directly from your vSphere inventory and configure every required parameter. Here we only need to specify the bridge and the public network. I can specify a DHCP or a static IP for my public network. And then, as you can see, we tried to simplify this by showing you only the basic or the required parameters that you need to set. But if you do want to set some of these optional VCH networks, or you want to set some of these other more advanced settings, you can do so as well. But again, for the purposes of this demo, we'll stick with the basic requirements and skip to the security step. In the security step, we force you to enable TLS, or secure communication between the client and the endpoint. You can choose to restrict via client certificates access to the endpoint. We're going to disable this here for now. You have the ability to auto-generate certificates or use existing certificates. We're just going to auto-generate for the purposes of this example. And under registry access, you can configure the whitelisting of registries that was introduced in the previous version of vSphere integrated containers, as well as configure any insecure registry or add registry certificates as needed. This takes us to the operations user. This is a user you can specify that has just the right amount of privileges necessary to run the virtual container host operations versus the admin users that's necessary to create it. Here I'm going to stick with the regular user, but we added this capability that if you specify a user that does not have the necessary permissions, specifying this option will grant any permissions that that user might be missing. So finally, we're taken to the summary step where you can review all your configurations. We also provide you with the resulting vic machine command. So If you're interested to see what the resulting vic machine command would look like based on the parameters you chose along the way, we give it to you here so you can refer to it or maybe use it at a later time to build some scripting or automation using the vic machine command line. So I'm just going to hit finish here, wait for a few seconds for the plugin to talk to my API server and get this created. And this will take me back to the plugin view that we had before. So as you can see, my virtual container host is getting created here. If I expand this little arrow, it's going to take me to the creation log. We provide you with debug level information in terms of how this virtual container host is getting created. This can be very useful for troubleshooting if you run into any issues, whether you're troubleshooting yourself or troubleshooting with the assistance of VMware Global Support Services. This information can come in handy. So it looks like this is completed. I'm going to close this. I'm going to hit refresh. And we give you the Docker host environment variable. That's basically all you need to provide to your end user so that they can start consuming this, leveraging the standard Docker CLI. So here I'm going to set my environment variable to my newly created Docker host and then running a standard Docker command info. I'm going to get information about this engine. I can see that this is my vSphere integrated containers engine that's been created and ready to use. Some of the additional things we built into this UI is the ability to download the VCH certificate. Because this is a self-generated certificate, I need the ability to retrieve it if needed. And finally, we have this delete button that allows you to delete the virtual container host with the option of keeping or deleting the persistent and anonymous volumes that were created using that host. Here I'm going to choose to delete everything, hit delete, and a few seconds later, my virtual container host is deleted as expected. And that concludes my demonstration for today. As we showed you, this should make adopting vSphere integrated containers a lot simpler than it was in the past, and really creating a easy way for vSphere admins to provide a Docker consumption model on top of vSphere. Thanks for watching.